Hello, my name is Morten. I am a senior support consultant here at ClickLearn, and today I want to talk to you briefly about the Word template and the options and the styles it uses. So let's have a look at how you can manipulate the Word template. Let's start out with one of the most common things I'm ever asked, and that is how you can change the way that groups are displayed. So let me just go grab a notepad here real quick. There we go. So let's go edit the recording template real quick. This goes for all three template types because the Word template is part of generating the PDF, which is also available in the book on the shelf. So let's quickly look at the recording template. The recording template is rather large and it takes a bit of time to load. So the group options, doc handle group. This is how groups are handled. It creates a new table and it starts a row and it starts a column, puts in the notes, if any, then the text, and then it ends that column, starts a new column, then puts the image, and then it ends that column, and then it ends the row. That's the preferred option by most ClickLearn users. This is what you see in the normal editor. And here, let me just delete this. You can always delete an entry. This will revert it to the default of ClickLearn. This is actually the default. It ends any active table. It creates a new line. Put in the note, the image, then a new line, and then the text. And then it makes two new lines. That's kind of how you can program how this is all for the group. This is how you can program how it's used, right? Let's copy that out as well. So we have them both. There we are. Now, let's go ahead and save this. Yes. So by default, you can see that the image go in the middle of the screen, and then we have the steps below it down here. This is a default ClickLearn option. A lot of people likes that the steps are on the left hand side, like you see in the editor, right? Let's just close this and go into the editor. So in the editor you have them aligned like this. Okay, let's go ahead and make that happen. So we go into the groups again, template, recording template. I'm gonna copy this because I'll need it. Handle group down there. Let's overwrite that, save it. All right, and let's produce our recording again. Okay, let's have a look at how that looks now. There we are. Now they're aligned left, right. Another thing you need to know is when you modify your recording template, if you want to change that, you need to know what styles to change, right? So let's bring those up. Gotta click on the styles and let's move it over there. Okay. So if you're curious about a style, you can always click somewhere. Okay, that's using the normal, right? How about that? That's using the heading 2, okay? This one, heading 1. And what about this guy here? This is using the list number. Okay, nice to know. And that's also using the normal. Now, if we go back to the groupings again, there is also one called list bullet, or there it is, list bullet. That is the one for bulleted lists, of course. We also have these up here. That's the table of content. They're classified as hyperlinks. Okay, so if you want to change your template, let's say you wanted to change the way that groups were done for lists. So we'll just click out here and click on modify. You'd have to do this on your standard ClickLearn template, of course. Then you can change the font, the size, if you want to format the way that the numbers are done. If you want like different types of numbers being used here, if you want numerals instead, or let's say you're doing the bullets, maybe you want some nice different kind of bullets here, or you have your own you want to define. Maybe you have a picture you want to import, for example, then you have special bullets designed for your marketing department or whatever. You could put them there, right? So that's kind of how you can change that around. This is also how you change the font in the entire template. So if you don't like to use the default font by ClickLearn, which is Arial, you can just go and change it up here. All right, now everything in this font. So if you wanted that in your real template, you would of course, let's just close this. You would of course modify your template, and then you would add it into ClickLearn. So let's say I change my Word template. I'll just go here and grab it. There it is. All right. So now I'm changing my Word template with all the changes I've made, right? I'm not going to do that right now. What else is here? In the Word document, you can also choose how the different things are used. For example, you can see which chapter heading style is called. You can also see the bullets, the list, stuff like that. More interestingly, you can manage the table setup. For example, this is where the lines are drawn. Literally. So let's say you're using the table setup with the groups. Let me just bring up our recording again. Let me just show you how that looks. 1 second. So let's view that with the Word document. So you see the lines across here, right? Some people don't like these lines because they're between everything, and you can go ahead and remove them. You can also add more if you want everything to be kind of encapsulated in frames. If you use let's say you use a smaller thumbnail size in your images, then maybe you have so many per page that you want to separate them better or whatever. You can do that in here by the table setup. Let's go back in there. There we go. You can see there's a horizontal border. You saw that on our Word document. They go across, right? And you can also add more if you wanted to here. You can also choose to just remove this, then there are no borders. You can kind of manage some of the different things here, like how it's using the code for different items, different types of items, like when you force the node to be somewhere to the left, to the right, how Word is going to structure this in its table. You can try to mess with some of it if you like. Just be sure to make a backup, or just remember that you can of course always right click and delete if you make a change you don't like. Furthermore, here are the metadata properties. These are covered in another video, but this is where you will need to add them if you're going to be working with metadata. And of course the same for the PowerPoint down here. It's just the same string. For this template I have everything added, which would make sense. If you have a customized template in which you already have, for example, a doc ID, you could change the reference here to match yours. In the header, you can use the hashtags, and there are a few available for you to use. So we have customer, that is your license. You could see in mine it is ClickLearn APS, so that would be the license you can see in my ClickLearn Studio. It's listed down there. And here you have your name. That is the name of the recording, so the title. And you have the user. That is, of course, your logged in user. You can also see the user in your ClickLearn user window. And that is it. That is what you can use in your header and your footer. Furthermore, the metadata tags you can use anywhere you want. You can use them in the normal body, and you can of course also use them up here in the header. What I often find that people like is that they like to make a cover page. So let's say that all this was a cover page here. That's very nice. Let's go ahead and make a page break here. So that's now down here. Now the table of content will be on this page. That's cool. Let's say table of content. And in here is a bookmark. In Word, I think it's called a bookmark. This is actually where the ClickLearn content goes, in these three. So I'm gonna head and steal those. I'm gonna cut them. and I'm going to make a forced line change, a forced paste break underneath the table of content here, and then I'm going to paste. Here is now where the ClickLearn content will start. So effectively, what will then happen is that we'll have our cover page. This could have like a nice color or a nice logo, and then maybe you could have your document ID and some properties and stuff like that. Then your content, and then your ClickLearn steps starting down here, right? So, but yeah, I do have an example of such a document. So here I have one like that, where I'm using the metadata tags for my cover page. Scrolling down, I have my table of content. Scrolling further down, my ClickLearn data starts, right? And of course here I'm also using metadata tags. So that's a few ways you can work with your Word document. And of course, one last thing, remember that you need to update them for both the book, the shelf, and the recording template, because you have the capability of producing the PDFs for these as well, right? So there you go. I hope you found this session useful, and of course, if you need anything, just let me know in the comments, and as always, have a great day.